guys. Hello, hello. Yay. Oh, don't turn off the video. How can I see any of you guys? Mama said, don't give up. Yay. Mr. Ryan, how you doing, sir? Can I hear you okay? Let's see. Here, say something clever, Ryan. Ryan.
Dab on economics.
There we go. There we go. Did you just seriously dab? That's awesome. I just saw a dinosaur, but a dabosaur. There's a good t-shirt, little dinosaur hitting it, you know?
Yeah.
Yay.
I have something even better, I think, if I could get it.
You guys are awesome, man. Front row, Joe. Oh, I got people in here. There we go. Yay. Man, miss you guys. Let you get in here. This is going to be a great opportunity to go over questions. It's where I know you're talented, Emily, but man, how are you doing that?
Okay.
I know you're a dancer extraordinaire. That was impressive. I've heard of Lionel Richie's dancing on the ceiling, but Maddie's in the house.
Hey, Mr. Damer, what's up?
Man, I'm telling you, I am so excited. I got to be back here. I got to play my music loud. I'm pretending you guys are all here right now. You know? We'll get you guys going here in a couple seconds. I've had some people in the waiting room. Yay. All right, well, if you guys can hear me, it is imperative. Let me get these guys in here. So we're just about ready to start. It is imperative that people that are not on this thing today, that you text them, you let them know, because Wednesday is our test. And I'm going to go over the procedures. You're going to get a link on Wednesday. You just click on it. There'll be a passcode. I'll tell you the passcode. And then the Unit 4 test that we actually give in here, I've transferred all to a thing called ClassMarker. And have you, any of your teachers use ClassMarker? Is that a no? All right, nice. That was almost in sync. And so it's imperative that you guys, you click on the link, you get, I think, 75 minutes to do it. I know you got your notes, obviously. And it'll do one question at a time, and you click on the answer, and then you can't go back. So it's one of those things, kind of a little bit of integrity, obviously, in there. But it's the same test we give you. It actually, I put some extra credit questions in there, so it's worth 115 points. So obviously, you want to get what you want to get, but obviously 100 would be the top, but 115. So make sure you're ready for that on Wednesday. I'm going to drop it at 10 o'clock, and I can actually kind of create, it's almost like college. I can create the time frame I want people to do it. So my goal is to have it open between 10 and 12, basically, and let you start taking it, okay? So kind of get that message out to people. I want as much, you know, I don't know what, unless somebody had kids while we were out, or, I don't know, picked up another job or something. But my understanding is, you know, we're home. And so this is a great opportunity for you to, you know, to kind of keep that consistency. That's the key. All right. So, oh, more people are in the waiting room. They've changed Zoom. You guys have heard about all the Zoom bombing and all that stuff. So,
Oh yeah. People
so
are
it's,
joining.
they made me put a passcode. Did you guys oh, there was a password, right? You got to enter a password now?
No.
You didn't have to?
No.
That's crazy. Well, that's
Well,
crazy.
if someone like comes into the Zoom classroom, we'll like instantly recognize it because like only a few people have their cameras on anyways.
That's true. That's
So, like,
true. We'll
you're, like,
recognize it.
messing with us, you just delete them. You know.
I need you to be vigilant for that. Like if we get, like Maria, I've heard of. I've seen this girl.
Have you? That's crazy.
So the people that, oh, there's another one. I can't do anything about the meeting room. It's just making people go in there. It is imperative though for people that just got on. Like I said, Wednesday we're doing our quiz. I'm going to send out, test. It's a Unit 4 test, full blown. I took it off of the prior Unit 4 test, but then we changed a few things, and it's gonna what's the good word, Emily? Not propagate. It's gonna. It is going to produce questions, random questions, different order answers. You get one at a time, and you get 75 minutes. And again, that's going to drop at 10 o'clock and stay open until 12. So my goal is for my whole class to take that. Mr. Harris's class should be doing that as well. Okay? So, and it's through ClassMarker, you'll get all that. All right, so today, I wanted to cover, I wanted to make sure you guys had all of the information. So Funpack, you've got the PowerPoints. I also wanted to go over the online quiz. And then I think it's, since you got time, do the AP classroom. So let me show you how to do that again. We are on. So the AP classroom, you log on to, and you go to the progress check, which is number 4. Now, some of you guys have done it, and I'm able to see your work. I won't pull that up here, obviously. But you can see we got a lot of room for people to get stuff done. Unit 4 progress check, this period 5, I only have that many in there. Period 6, there's like 20 y'all that haven't even bothered to look at. And those are great questions. So I'm gonna go over some of those today just so you have an idea, all right? And then also we have your quiz, online quiz from Skyward. And then some of you guys have turned in your Funpacks through Flipgrid. Make sure those are done by Wednesday. So I have those 13 that have turned them in. I think I've sent you guys all response. Has anybody received my response? So these are all the people that I have turned them in through what's it called? Through Flipgrid. So make sure those are done by Wednesday. And then anybody that can hear me that has turned it in, did you automatically get my feedback? Did it email to you?
No.
You didn't? Oh, really? Okay. I wonder if you have to log back in. I gave you feedback. All right. So make sure that we get that done. All right, let's go to your quiz real quick. Say that again.
Yeah.
You know what? Write it in the chat room because I can't hear. Is that you, Maddie, talking? No? Okay. I can't hear that one. All right, so let's go through the progress check for Unit 4. Make sure you guys are, at least when you do it, I'm going to go over the questions. And one of my superstar students actually did the FRQ and did a great job, Isabel. I saw that. And actually wrote it down and then uploaded it. So do the FRQ too. This is a great opportunity. So here comes the questions up here. And I'm going to go through these. I'm going to put the answers up just so when you do go over them, you'll have it's a good little review for you, okay? So which of the following is true for both stocks and bonds? Obviously, stocks are ownership in a corporation. bonds are IOUs. They're either from a government or from a corporation, and you give them money and they'll just pay you back with interest. Stocks are ownership though. Anyway, they're both easily converted to cash. Doesn't mean they're exactly liquid. It takes a while, but anyway. All right, next question. Emily's right there. I gotta move you. Okay. A cash, house, bond, savings account are all financial assets, which the following rankings list these assets from least liquid. Remember, liquid means how easily can it be converted to cash? Well, the least liquid is a house. You can't just say, ooh, I'm gonna get out of town, let me sell my house and I'm out of here. You're gonna be, it takes 30 days for closing, and that's saying you even get somebody to buy it. So that's the least liquid. Bonds, savings account. Cash obviously is already cash. It's the most liquid, the most liquid. Now remember your M1, that was from the first unit. Cash, checking accounts, traveler's checks, those are all M1. That's as liquid as you can get. M2 includes savings accounts and CDs. We call these near money. Let me see if anybody's in the, anybody, oh man. Sorry guys, are you in now? There you go. So we're just starting over talking about the AP classroom exam. So we're just going over that right now. AP classroom test. All right, so remember, house is not liquid at all. It takes time to get it. Cash is the most liquid. M1 includes cash or currency, checking accounts, and traveler's checks. M2 includes all of that, but it also includes savings accounts and CDs. We call savings accounts near money. Everybody say that. Near money.
Near money.
Nice. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Ryan. Got a little SpongeBob thing happening there. I like it. So near money, it's kind of like ice. It's almost water, but you have to do a couple steps before it becomes liquid water. All right. So savings accounts are near money. All right, number 3.
Stocks and bonds are both easily converted to cash, but they're not the most liquid, or like it doesn't communicate that it's liquid.
Yeah, I think because yes, it can be easily converted, but there's obviously some steps. Even the savings account. I mean, I can go to my bank right now, transfer money in one click from my savings account to checking account, or from my savings account to checking account, but then it becomes, and get it out of my ATM, you know? So I think it's just the idea that cash, the actual dollar bills and all of that, that is the most liquid. And then everything else is still currency. It's still money. But when you get to a house, that you can see that is not as liquid as the cash. And I think anything in between there, they're just degrees. That makes sense, Ed? Is that Angelina who asked that, or Ashley?
It was me, Angie, but yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, that's what I see. I see your name up here. All right. Nathan has been able to trust banks since the failure of his savings and loan. He claims that storing his hard-earned money at home is costless. Well, this is day one of economics. There's nothing that's costless. There's always a cost. And in this case, the opportunity cost. Because he's holding on to cash, he's foregoing any interest that he would get in a bank. Now, the higher the interest, the higher the opportunity cost, because that would be his return on his money. The lower the interest, let's say it gets down to where they're paying you 0.002, well then, yeah, you're not really losing a lot. You still have an opportunity cost, but you're not really losing that interest. And remember, sometimes it's good to have cash. I don't know about y'all, but I try to walk around with at least $10 in my pocket, just in case I need to get in somewhere, or, I need to get Jolly Ranchers or something. You need some cash every now and then. So doing that. All right, number 4, I'm gonna go a little bit faster. Which of the following is adjusted by the actual inflation rate? Remember, real interest rates, we subtract inflation. So that's that whole idea, guys, of, the nominal interest rate is 10%, inflation is 6%. What are you really making? 4%. So just make sure you can do those questions. Spencer took a 9% one-year fixed rate loan to buy a new car. He expected to pay a real interest rate of 5%. If at the end of the year, Spencer only paid 3%, which of the following is true? Well, here we go. So if he had a 9% loan to buy a car and he only paid 3% of real interest, so that meant inflation was 6%. The formula is simple. You just subtract the nominal from inflation, all right? So 3% is the real interest rate. How do you get that? You subtract the nominal, which is 9, minus inflation, which is 6. 9 minus 6. Interest rate on one-year loan is 5%, and the expected inflation rate is -2%, so it's going to go down. So what's the real interest rate? Well, obviously, if it's 5% and inflation is -2, then you add those up, it'd be 7%. So again, what are you really making? I don't want to get bogged down on this math. This is not most crazy things. All right, which of the following transaction will keep M1 unchanged? Layla deposited coins from her piggy bank into her checking account. I think we had a question like this on the test, on the quiz. So it already is M1, it's currency, and you're putting into another M1 account, which is checking. And some of you correctly would say, sir, also that's M2 didn't change. You're right. M1 is in M2. Which of the following is included in the monetary base? So they're just telling you the monetary base is currency and bank reserves. Currency and bank reserves, that's the definition. Versus the monetary supply, they'll have those two. All right, Mia transferred $1,000 from her checking to her savings. How will M1 and M2 change? Yay. Uh-oh. Sign the Google form. This is fun. Get actual announcements. It's like school. All right. So when you transferred it from your checking account to savings, it left M1 because savings account is M2. M2 already included M1, so M2 doesn't change, but M1 does decrease, all right? You lost your checking account. I mean, you lost that money from your checking account. This is kind of the question of a savings account is M2, but it is not in M1, all right? Again, I'm giving you these answers just so you are able to understand them. You can go back, look through them. Northern City Bank keeps no excess reserves. Assume Northern City Bank receives a deposit of $50 million. As a result of the deposit, their required reserves increase by $10 million. So let's go back over this. This is going to be some of the questions on the test on Wednesday. If they get a $50 million deposit, that's a demand deposit, checking deposit. The bank is required to put a percentage, a ratio aside. In this case, they're saying required reserves increased by 10 million. So what times 50 equals 10 million?
20%.
20%. So the required reserve, yeah.
In the waiting room.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. You can see the doctor now. We open the waiting room. Sorry about, I don't even know. Let me see if I can do something. Let's go over here. Nope, they're making us do waiting rooms now. All right, good. So again, when you put 50 million in a bank, the bank has to put required reserves. In this case, they'll either say put 10% or 20% aside, or they'll give you the number. And this, so you guys correctly figured what times 50 equals 10? Well, it's 20%. Now, we also know the money multiplier. 1 over 20% would be 5. So what are we multiplying times 5? Are we multiplying the whole deposit or the excess, what's left over after you put your required aside? So this was in your Funpack. You're going to do your excess reserves. So let's process this. Somebody comes in, Emily comes in, drops 50 million in the bank. They have to put 20% aside. So they put 10 million in required reserves, but now they have 40 million they can loan out. And remember, that's the whole point of banks. Banks make money when they make loans, not when they charge interest. I shouldn't say that. Banks create money when they make loans, right? They can make money on a lot of different things, but they create money when they make loans. You only make loans if you get rid of your excess reserves. So the bank in this case has 40 million because the money multiplier is 20% of the required reserve. 1 over 20% is 5, so 5 times 40 is 200. So there's your answer. The money supply will increase by up to $200 million. Now it always says a maximum. It doesn't always increase exactly up to 200 because number one, banks may not loan out all their excess reserves. Or if, Ryan went and got a loan, then he may not spend all that money. So we call that leakage, right? All right, Southern City has 100 million deposits and 8 million in excess reserves. If the required reserve is 5%, which of the following is true? So again, just break that down. 100 million in deposits, they have to keep 5% aside. So they have to keep $5 million. Y'all agree? So $5 million, but they have 8 million in excess reserves. All right. So first of all, what is the money multiplier if it's 5%? It's 20. We know the money multiplier is 20. And they can increase, loans can increase in the bank system by a maximum of 160. So the 8 million they had in reserves, the 8 times 20 is 160. That make sense, Ryan? Give me some love. There you go. Which following explains why the amount predicted by the value may be overstated. We just talked about that. Banks may hold on to their excess reserves. They might not loan out. If they have 8 million in excess reserves, there's no guarantee they're going to loan out all 8 million. Okay? So that's why the 20 times 8 could be overstated because they hold on to excess reserves. Let me pick it up a little bit. Which of the following describes the relationship between nominal interest rate and the quantity of money people want to hold as depicted by the money demand curve? All right, I'm gonna show this, but this is your money demand curve. So in other words, why is demand downward sloping in the money market? Well, the higher the interest rate, the less money people are gonna want, the less quantity of money. And also, they want to put their money into the banks, get that interest rate. The lower the interest rate, let's see if they actually show this graph. As the nominal interest rate falls, people hold more money because opportunity cost decreases. In other words, the lower the interest rate, I might as well hold it. I'm not losing anything. All right. Boom. Well, there you go. You asked for one. Now, this picture right here, that's why I'm proud of you guys for showing up today. Because I get to tell you things. This is going to be on your test. And they're going to ask you certain questions about this. All right. Obviously, this is your money market. It's nominal interest rate over quantity of money. Your money supply is vertical. The Fed controls the money supply. And then demand for money. Why do you need money? Well, if prices go up, I need money. If my income goes up, I need money. When do I not have a demand for money? When I use credit cards or I use some other form. So if we increase prices, demand is going to shift up. Well, shift to the right, but it's going to stay along this line. If I don't need money anymore, it's going to decrease my demand for money. But here's the question. If we're at I3, would you agree that this is a lower interest rate than I2? Give me some love. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice, Ronald, in the house. But here's the thing. This is on your demand curve right here. So if we're at I3, this is demand. Where's supply? It's back here, right? So this is straight up, our demand is greater than supply. If there's more demand than supply, we call that a shortage, right? Let's take demand up here. Now, what's there more of? There's more supply of money than that's quantity that's demanded. So if we have more supply than demand, then we have a surplus. So just remember, we always got to end up here. This is equilibrium. But if we're here, there is a shortage of money. So the only way to do that is for the interest rate to rise. if it's right here at I1, there's a surplus of money, which means the interest rate has to fall, right? Just get back to equilibrium. That is going to be right on your test. I'm telling you that because you're the superstars that showed up. All right, so saying which of the following is true of the nominal interest rate of I3? There's a shortage of money. Why? Because demand is greater than supply. This is your supply, this is your demand. And there's a shortage of money because the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied. And then the only other part to that is what has to happen to the interest rate? It has to go up, it has to rise. You okay?
Yeah.
What the heck? All right, let's check this one out. An increase in the price level will affect the money market and the bond market in which of the following ways? All right, so if there's an increase in the price level, we're going to demand more money. So let me go back to that other graph right here. If there's an increase in price level, this demand is going to shift to the right. Man, I can't write on this thing. I am so scared. Y'all know me. How do I write on my? Ugh. Who did that?
I got you.
Huh? Well, it's gonna, and then draw a line up here. Like draw it to where it just goes like that. Like the whole line shifts to the right. We'll draw a whole straight line. Like see how the money demand line is downward sloping? Just shift that curve up to the right. Just shift the money demand line. Just draw it all the way down right here. Just one line. Now this is scary that you have control of the screen. I don't know how to stop that. Stop sharing. There it is. Bam. Beautiful. So you see how the money demand curve shifted up? Why did it shift up? Because we needed more money. And what happened to the interest rate? It went up, okay? So, thank you, sir. Now we gotta get rid of it. All right. A rise in the price level caused the money demand curve to shift to the right, and it causes the nominal interest rate to rise. Now remember, I showed you a picture of a bond before. People get a bond, and they'll say they'll get a return of 6% on it. Well, if the interest rate goes up after you buy your bond isn't worth as much. So remember, interest rates and bond prices go in opposite directions. All right, let's see if anybody else is in the waiting room. Nope, good. All right, suppose that economy's entered a recession. Which of the following monetary policy actions? Monetary policy. So this is the Fed. This is required reserve, discount rate, open market operations. Those are the three. If they had said fiscal policy, then you'd be like, oh, it's taxes and spending. But monetary policy, the Fed, remember the central bank is a Fed. What can they do if we're in a depression, in a recession? They can decrease the discount rate. They can buy government bonds, or they can lower the required reserve, all right? So this is expansionary monetary policy. Look at this bad boy. This must be, oh, this is our aggregate demand supply graph. Country's economic situation is depicted on the graph. Oh my God, what are we in? We're at full employment, right? Equilibrium crosses right here, full employment. So what's the question, dude? What will happen if the bank conducts a contractionary monetary policy? Oh my God. They want to contract. Remember, fiscal and monetary policy always move AD. Expand, go to the right. Contract, go to the left. So we're at full employment. They want to do a contractionary monetary policy. What's going to happen to our economy? Is it good or bad? Nice line. All right, it's bad. It's going to go to the left, and we're going to end up in a recessionary gap. We decreased GDP, decreased output, increased unemployment. I don't know why the bank would have done that. That's messed up. Economy will be in a recessionary gap, and of course, the price level and the output level will decrease. Nice. All right, a country's central bank purchased government bonds. Right when I hear purchased, buy, I know they're increasing the money supply, okay? How would this action affect the nominal interest rate? If they increase the money supply, then let me go back a few. Right, if you increase the money supply, you're shifting this to the right. Give me a line right here. All right, where is it at? Nice. Look at this. This is teamwork. All right, so when you shift the money supply, you increase the money supply. You buy bonds. You're increasing the money supply. What happened to the interest rate? It was here. Now it's here. Interest rate went lower. Why is that important? This is the whole gist of Unit 4. The lower the interest rate, the more consumers and investors will borrow money. They will spend it, and that will increase aggregate demand. So as long as you get the interest rate lower, you're giving incentive for businesses and consumers to spend money. That'll get AD to shift to the right. If you do the opposite, you decrease the money supply, well, now you're going to raise the interest rate. And when you raise the interest rate, people don't want to spend, businesses don't want to spend, AD would shift to the left. That's the whole enchilada right there. Beautiful. That is your best line ever. My mystery line writer right there.
That's me.
That is awesome. Put a little highlighter, I see. I don't know. So anyway, when you decrease the money supply, this whole line would shift over here. The interest rate at equilibrium now is at equilibrium here. It rises up. People don't want to spend money. People don't want to borrow money. All right, which one are we on? Like 17? All right, country central bank purchase government bonds. How this action? Yeah. So if they purchase, make sure you're looking at this word. There's going to be words called purchase, buy. That's good. That increased the money supply. Words like sell or contract, that's going to decrease the money supply. So in this case, money supply goes to the right. The interest rate's going to decrease. Because aggregate demand would shift to the right, that's going to show an increase in the price level. I'll do that one here in a second. All right, which is true about the loanable funds. All right, and then finally, module 29, we got into loanable funds. And that is the idea that people can borrow money, especially the government. So who funds the loanable funds? I mean, who gives that money? Where does that money come from? What are the two things you can do with money? Spend and what? Spend and save, right? Spend and save. So if we're spending money, we're not saving it, right? Well, if we save money, guess where it goes? To banks who end up loaning it. So if our savings, and I'll do this here in a second, I'll just do a couple of graphs. If you save money, that will increase the loanable funds savings, okay? And that'll shift to the right. All investment, anybody that wants to borrow money, they can only borrow as much as what is saved. So savings equals investment, all right? Savings equals investment. So here's your supply of loanable funds. Give me this line shifting to the right. So shift supply to the right. Beautiful. This, nice, really nice. Is this multiple people? So supply shifts to the right. That means we're saving more. Private savings has increased. Oh my God, wait for it. If public savings increase, that means we have more money from tax revenue than we're spending. That ain't gonna happen. We also talked a third way, foreign investment. They want to bring money into our thing. But the more we save, the more people can borrow. So savings will go here. All right, loanable funds market is currently in equilibrium. An increase in household savings will affect the loanable funds market in which way? Beautiful. It's going to shift it to the right. That's going to lower the real interest. Make sure loanable funds is real interest. Let's see what they told us. The supply of loanable funds will increase and the real interest rate will decrease. Look at this. It's just beautiful. Give me that line one more time, just for fun. Boom. Nice, yellow. Oh, and red. And orange. So either way, they're all right. They shifted to the right, okay? And then we'll go over here. Private savings increased, real interest rate went down. All right, last question. All right, country's economy is enjoying political stability and attracting foreign financial capital. At the same time, country X's government is borrowing to finance spending. How will these changes affect the loanable funds market? Well, this is a double shift. So watch this. Let's go back here. Keep this yellow line. If we're attracting foreign investment, that's going to increase the supply of loanable funds. But now, make demand go to the right. Shift demand to the right. That's supply. Shift this demand right here. There it is. So this is a double shift. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. So check this out. When foreign investment came in, that moved supply to the right, savings increased, real interest rate went down. When government borrowed money, that shifted demand to the right, but it raised the real interest rate. So what do we know happened for sure? We know happened for sure is the quantity of loans increased. We do not know what happened to the interest rate. It's indeterminate. All right? Remember, anytime demand shifts to the right, because the government would call that crowding out. So let's see the answer they gave us. There will be an indeterminate effect on equilibrium rate, right? Because they went two different ways. Savings dropped it, and an increase in demand raised it. So it's indeterminate. The increase in foreign financial capital increases supply of loanable funds, which lowers the real interest rate. The increase in government borrowing increases demand for loanable funds, which increases it. So either way, we got two different ones. All right, that is a lot of work on that one. Let me make sure you guys got this thing. Questions? I'm going to go over this a little bit faster. Is this helping to review this stuff rather than just talking about new things? What do you think? Would you rather?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys
No,
have
I
other,
like this.
okay. Do you have other things you want me to talk about? Just ask me. What time is it? It's 10:30. All right, real quick, going over this question. Reserve requirement is 25%. So what's the money multiplier? 4, right? 1 over 25, 4 times. Suppose the Federal Reserve buys 400,000 worth of securities. Remember, securities, bonds, treasury bills, same thing. If the reserve requirement is 20%, what could be the total increase? All right, what's our money multiplier over 20%? 5. 5 times 400,000 is 2 million. The key thing is it increasing or decreasing? Well, it said it buys. Buying makes it bigger. So that's going to expand or increase money supply by 2 million. If you have a question, just let me know. Bank holds 500,000 demand deposits. Required reserve is 20%. How much does the bank have to put in required reserves? Well, what's 20% of 500,000? 100,000. That means they have how much left over? 400,000 in excess. All right, if the bank has 120 in reserves, and of that amount, 100,000 is required reserves, how much could the bank loan out? Well, if they have 120,000 in reserves, 100 of that is required, then that means they have 20,000 they can loan out. There's going to be a question like that on your test. I broke that thing down right there. Which of the following does the Federal Reserve use most often? First of all, we know they use buying and selling of bonds. But what do you do in a recession? Do you buy or do you sell? The Fed. You buy them. All right, remember, I'm using different words because I want you to see securities, bonds, T-bills, same thing. Recession, you got to expand the money supply, you buy bonds. To reduce inflation, the Federal Reserve, you want to contract the money supply. You want to make sure you raise interest rates, decrease investment. What can you do to contract it? Sell bonds, raise the discount rate, increase the reserve requirement. There y'all are. You guys have been like the main 3 right there. All right, bada boom. Which of the following actions by the Federal Reserve result in an increase in banks' excess reserves or an increase in money supply? Buying bonds. Aggregate demand, aggregate supply suggests that an expansionary monetary policy will shift, always shifts aggregate demand. Always shifts aggregate demand. Nice. So Anytime you see monetary policy or fiscal policy, it always is shifting aggregate demand. No policy, then we'll do our baseball thing. Okay, then we'll do long run. If on receiving a checking deposit of 500 bucks, wow, $500, a bank's excess was increased by $400. This is just another way of asking the question I did earlier. What's the required reserve? Well, the required reserve is 100 bucks. What times 500 equals 100? 20%. Does that make sense? How much did the bank have to put aside? Thank you. All right, the Fed decreases the money supply. I already know they're shifting the money supply to the left, contractionary. Based on the resulting change in the nominal interest rate, what will happen to aggregate demand? Well, if you decrease the money supply, you're increasing the interest rate. People don't like high interest rates, so aggregate demand is going to decrease. It's going to shift to the left. Hopefully this is sinking in. Hopefully it's... What are the 3 tools of monetary policy? Oh my God. Again, my 30 that are here listening. God bless you. Great job. Because guess why? That's a question on the test. 3 tools of monetary policy: reserve requirements, discount rate, open market operations. And then I threw this in for fun. This is how benevolent I am. What are the 2 tools of fiscal policy? Government spending and taxes. I may put this on Google Classroom here next week. It's just a review, but it's the difference of monetary policy and fiscal policy and their changes, a little cheat sheet. So not I may, I will. And last question, if the Fed buys securities, what will be the resulting effects? All right, buys, we know they're gonna make the money supply bigger. It's gonna lower the interest rate. So the money supply is going to shift to the right. The interest rate should decrease. Aggregate demand should increase. Is that I down here? Impressive. AD will shift to the right. Real GDP is going to increase. And what kind of policy is it? It's called an expansionary policy. All right. Are you doing the loanable funds market up here? Nice. Are we still sharing?
Just stop sharing screens.
Oh, I stopped sharing screens. I don't know how, I mean, that's, hey, I'll get better, I guess. I'm not really sure. All right. So there's that quiz. There's the AP Classroom quiz. You guys want to do an answer pad thing again? You want to see if you know how to graph, or does that take way too much time? Because I know Ashlyn will want it to be perfect.
I feel attacked. Can we go over, like, if we have questions on Funpack?
Yeah, go ahead, Ash. Which one?
Okay, you're gonna have to give me a second here.
Oh, take time.
Page. Ryan, which one was the one we circled?
I'm trying to look for it. I don't remember what question it was.
16. Can you go over 16? Because we tried to do it. I just wanted to make sure they were right.
Yeah. So page 16 on your Funpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 5 on 16.
All right. So we did these first 3.
We already did those 3, yeah.
Okay. And so switch it. Perfect. Okay. Oh, this is perfect. Good job, Ash. And Ryan and everybody else. The flow of foreign capital into American financial markets begins to decrease. So let's do this is loanable funds. So we need real interest rate up here. And then we have quantity of loans. We have our supply of loans, which are the lenders. Mm-hmm. And we have our demand for loans, which are the borrowers. And then this is our real interest rate. Let's say it's 5%. And this is quantity. Just put it, however, usually put a number right there. All right. So remember, we either spend money or save money. If we spend, it's out the window. But if we save, it goes into a bank, and those savings are channeled to people that want to borrow, like investors, okay? The three ways savings can increase to the right is we save more, the government saves more, or foreign investment increases. That would go to the right. Well, what happens if it decreases? Then supply will go to the left, and that'll raise the real interest rate. So in this case, the flow of financial capital decreased, so supply will decrease to the left. This is a great one. This is going to be on your test, the loanable funds market, and it's going to talk a lot about savings, or supply of loans. This all comes, the supply loan all comes from savings. So if savings increase, then loanable funds, oh, that is nasty. If savings increase, loanable funds increase. If savings decrease, loanable funds decrease. All right. Okay, Congress uses an expansionary, oh, look at that word, fiscal policy, but does not change tax rates. So remember, fiscal policy is government spending or taxes. This is fiscal policy. So real interest rate. And I saw Reiner do RIR. You can do that. Just make sure you know it's real. Quantity of loans, supply of loans, demand for loans. You don't have to put the L and the B. I'm just doing it just to help. Real interest rates. Let's see, we have, let's make it 6%. And let's just say 200 million. All right. Congress uses expansionary fiscal policy, but does not change tax rates. So they want to use spending, okay? Now, this doesn't give us a lot of information because if we're in a budget surplus, they don't need to borrow money from the loanable funds. But let's say our normal government does not have the money, they're broke, they're deficit spending. Where do they get the money? The government borrows from the loanable funds market. All right, so the government borrows money in the loanable funds market. That increases the demand for loans. What does that do? It raises the real interest rate. It increased the quantity of loans. But now, that is what we call crowding out. When the government borrows money because they're broke in the loanable funds market, it raises the real interest rate. We call that crowding out. And the reason it's crowding out is now our consumers and our business people that are interest sensitive, they like lower interest rates. Now they're not going to borrow money. They're not going to borrow money. If they don't borrow money, they're not spending money, correct? Now here's another question right on your test. If consumers and investors aren't borrowing money, they're not spending money, what is the other thing you do with money? You're not, I heard it. I don't know what you just mouthed it, but I think you said save, right? So if they're not borrowing money, they're not spending. If they're not spending, they're saving. So technically, private savings would also increase. So when crowding out happens, private savings will increase. All right. Okay. Other questions on this bad boy?
Can you go over page number 8?
Which one?
8.
8. Oh, back here. Oh, this is easy. All right, why does the Fed rarely use the reserve requirement? It's too hard to adjust that many times. You can't tell a bank, hey, we're at 10% today. Hey, tomorrow we're at 12%. You know what? Let's go to 5%. That would just get crazy. Okay? What does it mean to say the Fed changed the discount rate mostly to signal markets? All right. So you hear this all the time if you're a geek and you listen to economic news about the Fed targeting the federal funds rate. All right, remember the federal funds rate is bank to bank. Bank to bank. So the discount rate is the Fed to banks. Now, this is one of the tools of monetary policy, right? The discount rate, the reserve requirement, and open market operations. When the Fed can lend money to banks, but if you don't borrow your money from the Fed, you can go to another bank, right? You can do the federal funds rate. So the Fed knows that. They know that you could go to other places to get your money. They can't tell banks what to charge. So they kind of influence them. They kind of set a target rate and banks kind of fall in line. So they change the discount rate. They'll say it's at 6%. They'll lower it to 4%. What do you think that tells banks to do with their federal funds rate? Are they going to raise their rate or are they going to lower it? They're going to lower it, right? Because otherwise, let's say this is the discount rate. And over here, the federal funds rate is at 6.25%. If they're at 6%, and of course they would never drop it by this much. Usually it is in quarter percentages. But if the discount rate's at 6% and the Fed lowers it to 4%, then the federal funds rate, if it's at 6.25, it's a signal to the federal funds that y'all need to lower that thing. So maybe to 4.5%. Maybe not all the way to 4, but to 4.5%. So they're targeting this rate. And the way they do it is they lower theirs. Because if the Fed lowered it to 4% and banks didn't do anything, then guess where banks are going to borrow their money? They're going to go borrow it at this 4% rate. Banks want other banks to borrow money, so they'll target it, they'll lower it. They'll follow the target, okay? And then why does the Fed currently target the federal fund rate rather than the money supply? Why does the Fed currently target the federal funds rate rather than the money supply? I think this is more responsive to quicker change. And the whole goal is interest rates in the first place. The whole goal is interest rates in the first place. So I think that's a good one. I don't know. Let me see if there's another answer up here. Yeah, that's what I put. It's faster, quicker changes. Faster, quicker changes. Okay. All right. There's a page right before it, and I love this one. This is, again, this is Unit 4. There's your expansionary policy is to buy bonds, lower the discount rate, lower the reserve requirement. That's expanding. That's like on the business cycle. And then contractionary monetary policies do the opposite. Sell, raise the discount rate, raise the reserve requirement. Okay? All right. So let's see. I wanted to do our Skyward quiz. I wanted to do our AP quiz. I wanted to go over the Funpack. And let me do one more thing. We just draw 2 graphs and we're done. So again, the money market graph is nominal interest rates, the quantity of money. This is the money supply. Okay. The money supply is controlled by the Fed, whatever amount is in there. If you want to increase the money supply, you do what we just said right here. You buy bonds, lower the discount rate, lower the reserve requirement. That will increase the money supply to the right. You want to decrease the money supply, you do this. Sell, raise, raise. All right, that's the money supply. And that will, of course, affect interest rates. The demand for money is based on the idea that we need cash. If we need more cash, then we just increase demand to the right. This is to the right. And of course, that will raise the interest rate. So if we increase our demand for money, it just goes up and the interest rate goes. Why do we need more money? Because things are cost more. The price level went up, or we're making more income, all right? Why do we need less money? Why would demand shift to the, why would demand of money shift here? Well, now we don't need cash. We're using credit cards. We're using other things. And again, if that's the case, if we decrease the demand for money, interest rate goes down. All right, so that's demand. One more thing. Nominal interest rate, quantity of money, the supply of money. Remember, we call this the money market graph. Money market graph. All right. At this interest rate, let's say it's 7%. That's equilibrium. All right. If you increase, let's say the interest rate went down to here. Now it's at 6%. Well, we would love to have the interest rate at 6%, correct?
Mhm.
If we're investors, consumers and businesses, we would love to have the interest rate. We're going to go borrow more money, but that's not where it is it? No, because the money supply is back here. So again, demand is greater than supply. At this position, demand is greater than supply. So we have a shortage of money. So what's going to needs to happen? Well, the interest rate needs to go back up to here, right? I'm just showing you kind of how to read it. And then what if we're up here and the interest rate now is 9%? Well, now the demand supply is greater than demand. So now we have more supply than demand. We have more pizza than people want. We have a surplus. So now the interest rate has to fall. Always has to go back to equilibrium. So that's how you interpret that graph. And then remember, if we do increase the money supply, if they wanted to target this 6%, they could increase the money supply. And now the interest rate would be here. This would be the new equilibrium. Okay? So, all right, and then loanable funds, we talked about this. This is real interest rate. You got quantity of loans, you have supply of loans, the lenders, the demand is the borrowers. Say we have 200 billion in loans, and let's say a 5% real interest rate. Remember, the real interest rate, that's the Fisher effect. We talked about that a couple of lectures ago. If inflation is at 8%, nominal interest rate is at 8% and inflation's at 3%, well, then they're making 5% really, right? And if inflation went up to 7%, are they going to keep charging 8%? No, they're going to move it up to 12%. So you would still get that 5% real return. That's the Fisher effect. All right. So again, the demand for loans, if we see a good business opportunity or if the government borrows money, then it's going to shift to the right. All right. If we have any type of savings, then the supply of loans is going to increase. It was here at 200. Now it's here at, let's say, 250. And then that lowers the real interest rate. Okay. So remember, savings is how banks are allowed to get money, which allows them to loan it out. So Awesome. All right. So like I said, I've got your paper test right here. I won't even show it to you. I have put this on a link called, are you seeing my screen still? No. Are you seeing this screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so what'll happen, let me go to ClassMarker. I love this online site. I looked all over for you guys. All right, so we got 46 questions. Here's your test. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna give you a link. And that link I'm gonna put on Google Classroom at 9:55. I'll even try to Zoom in case you guys got questions a little bit. But then you guys will have 75 minutes to take it. I'll keep it open just, you know, for posterity's sake from probably 10 to 12. So you need to, well, I say that. Yeah, I'll figure it out. But anyway, my goal is to have everyone taking it. So make sure you tell people because they should be showing up to this class. They should be, this is our social studies. This is even number day. It's 10 o'clock. That's why I keep coming in here, and that's why you guys are awesome. Make sure the rest of your class sees this. Make sure you guys do your AP classroom questions. I know I went over them. You guys got to see the benefit of that. But make sure you guys are going through those because that's where I'm looking for progress. All right? And I want to make sure you guys are getting as much of this as possible. Okay? Any questions?
No.
No.
None.
Yay. What's going on? I always like to look at Nathan's stuff. Hey, Nathan, a lot happening back there, man. You know?
He's watching Bill Nye, that's why.
He's doing what?
Sorry, I have
Bill
two
Nye.
classes at this time, and I'm kind of multitasking.
Wait, who's doing my class during my class time?
I don't know.
No, we
I'm
gonna
not trying
find
to start a
out.
fight here.
Oh no, it's on. I'm
I
gonna
had
walk.
to completely ditch biology today because they scheduled it at the same time.
See, and let me know that because I'm straight up. It's even number day at 10 o'clock.
Oh, but it was stupid because her time is like before, but she had her kids had a Zoom, so she had to do it later. But
No, I'm sorry. That's silly. Hey, oh, Ron, don't do it. Don't do it. I gotta stop sharing. Ow. Hey, let's just mute you too. I'm just gonna do it all. Mute, stop, chat, rename. I'm gonna rename you Zuma Bomber. Put in the waiting room. Put in timeout. Hey, where is,
Missed the class.
what's that? Somebody in the waiting room?
No, I'm saying if like you could just join the Zoom and like you're in the waiting room, you have like nobody to text or anything.
Here, watch this. What classes are you doing on an even day at 10 a.m.? Bam. Yeah, snitches get stitches. What the heck is happening back there, Nathan? Bill Nye, the science guy?
Yeah, it's just a Bill Nye intro.
All right, I am so proud of you guys. Thank you for showing up. I'm telling you, I miss you. Hopefully this is making some sense. I'm excited about this test. Take your time on it. You'll have your notes there, so print out your study guides. Make sure you're, utilizing what you have. They're going to be random questions. They're going to be in different order. So I don't know. I mean, I know you guys are ingenious. Is ingenious the right word? Maybe just genius with solving things, but try to do it on your own. Get that feedback, okay? Get that feedback.
Oh, sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
So for the study guide, do you want us to like take a picture of like the front cover or anything, or just like submit it, like Mark turned it in?
Just click done, Maria. That's
Okay.
just straight up on you, your honor. I mean, those are some, when I started this last year, I said, I want you guys to have Thinkific. I want you to have a program. Look how prophetic that was, to have a program that guides you through your whole thing. we'll go over after this unit. All I have is technically one more graph that I'm going to teach you for the AP exam, and that is the Phillips curve, which is unemployment inflation.
I know they had a seminar the other day for the teachers to basically explain what it's going to look like. Do you have any more information?
Yeah. And I'm going to hit that. I wanted to get you guys through Unit 4. We have a whole new release that it put down on it. So we're going to start just knocking out FRQs.
Did they give you a date?
What?
Shoot, is it May 21st, I think, or something like that? Here, I can go there right now. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, it can't minimize, really. I gotta share a screen. How do you not share a screen? That don't even make sense.
Like stop video.
Oh. Well.
Just like not see you.
I was just on my AP classroom. AP Central College Board. Coronavirus updates.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. And I'll post this anyway about this year's AP exams, AP exam schedule. Macroeconomics, Thursday, May 21st. You see that, Ash?
Yeah.
Thursday,
Can you
May.
just put that link on the Google Classroom?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot more
Thank you.
information.
Yeah.
Course specific. See exam dates, exam features, timing. Let me see. History, macro. So Central Time, we'll take it at 3 o'clock. And this helping, I'll put this all on here, but let me just make sure. Students will have 25 minutes to read and respond to question 1, and then 5 minutes to upload their response. After uploading response, students will have 15 minutes to run question 2. On response to question 1, they cannot go back to it. So basically 2 questions. Oh, this is awesome, man. We're gonna knock this out.
Are we taking it at school?
No, you take it at home. You're gonna take it
They said
on your.
But we're gonna be at school around that time.
They said,
Well, if
to
we're
go
at
back.
school, then we'll take it at school.
We ain't going back.
they said that if we do go back, which we won't, but if we do, that we're still going to take the shortened 45-minute one, and it's just going to be in school. They're not going to try and go back to the 3-hour one.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I'm sad, though, because y'all would knock out the 3-hour. In fact, one of the things I have for you sitting right here is I printed out practice AP exams. So if there's a way, like if you already got corona and you're immune, let me see if I can get you up here. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, this had 60 multiple choice questions. This is our final. Oh my God, I can't wait. You're not getting out of anything. I want to prepare you, Ronald. I got to prepare you to be champs. All right. It's only units 1 through 5. So that 5th unit, I'm looking over there, is just, again, fiscal monetary policy actions, the Phillips curve. Go from there. All right. Okay. Remember, Wednesday, 10 o'clock, I'm going to open that test. It's going to be open. So make sure people are paying attention. I don't want to hear from, and I'm preaching the choir, but people that are saying, oh, I didn't know, or I was doing biology, or I was doing this. No, even day test, knock it out. Okay. Yeah. You guys are awesome, man. If you have any questions, contact me. I'm going to put this, you guys, anybody knowing and watching the YouTube channel when I post these on YouTube? Have you tried those links yet?
I've watched it before because I've had conflicting classes before.
Good, good. I want to make sure that works. All right. Man, it is so good to see you guys.
Wait, what's your YouTube channel?
So my YouTube, well, let's just go to it, buddy.
Everybody subscribe to Mr. Dangerous.
Yeah, subscribe to my channel. I don't even know what this one is. I'm scared. Oh, that's not it. All right, hold up. I got to move y'all out of my way.
That's you right there? That's crazy.
Should I go to my creator studio? I don't even know how to do this. What do I do? Go to creator studio?
Put in that video.
Yeah, there's my channel. So I put these links. I make them all unlisted. So that, but they are made for kids. And that way you guys can, you can go back and review them, okay? So I put the link, it's on Google Classroom, Ronald. It'll say, here's the replay, the YouTube channel. So you just got to find it. All right. I love my logo. Y'all see this one?
Hey, I found it.
Yeah.
Short action video.
Boom, baby. My wife's like, what does the X represent? I'm like, supply and demand.
Obviously.
All right, guys. I'm not trying to play this over and over again. I have to edit it. I'm still working on my editing. All right, you guys are good?
Yes.
Okay, if you have any questions, talk to me. Make sure you're doing those quizzes. Most of you guys did a great job on them. A few people I got to reach out to. So, all right. Love you guys. Take care. Enjoy.
Bye.
Love you
If
too.
you have any other questions, let me know, man. Appreciate it. See ya. Bye. And